Hey everyone, how are you? Welcome. Hope everyone had a great week. I am Rachel, and I do these weekly live streams from the Facebook Seize Your Passion group as the founder, the proud founder of Seyopa and Seize Your Passion, in order to walk the walk and not just talk the talk, to share with you guys my own personal growth and my lessons learned on my journey to seize my passion and become my best self and achieve the goals that I set for myself and realize my dreams, which is everything Seize Your Passion is about. So this week, what I've been thinking about and what I'm going to talk about today is getting a good kick in the ass and why you need to get one and how to get one. Okay, so we've all, I'm sure, heard the expression, we all need a good kick in the ass sometimes, but really, what does that really mean? Diving a little deeper, and why do we need a good kick in the ass sometimes? And how do you actually go get one when life doesn't just give it to you? Because life will sometimes, but not always. So, it all starts with mindset, right? Any growth, any change, when we're talking about, whether it's tied directly to achieving a specific goal or realizing a specific dream, or just, again, your own personal growth and becoming better every day and working on becoming the best version of yourself and fulfilling your limitless and beautiful potential that we all have. It starts with mindset, right? It starts up here. It's not just thinking about it, right? It's not just thinking, oh, I'm going to achieve this goal, or, oh, I'm going to do better, or, I'm going to think positively and not think negatively. It's not enough to just think about it, right? That's not what mindset is about, growth mindset. Hey, Cheryl. Real growth mindset is about believing, wholeheartedly believing the story that you're telling yourself, and instead of believing the other stories, the self-limiting stories that you've been telling yourself or that others have put on you, right? We all sort of have these stories that we tell ourselves, whether it's because of our own experience in life as we go through life and we go through difficult times or failures or fears. We start to tell ourselves stories, oh, that's not practical, or oh, I'm not good enough, or oh, I can't do that. Or sometimes, we have people in our lives, unfortunately, even well-intentioned sometimes, who project their own fears or limitations on you, growing up, whether it's a parent or a teacher or a mentor, again, not necessarily even ill-intentioned. And so you have this belief system within yourself. So the first foundational key element to truly, hey Tom, to truly achieving that growth, whether it's tied to a specific goal or dream or just working on becoming your best self, is the right growth mindset. In other words, not just thinking it, but actually believing it, right? Why? Because when you believe something and it's as natural and it's every day consistently, like breathing and waking up in the morning, you start to take inspired action, right? To implement the steps needed to achieve that goal or realize that dream or become better every day. The problem is sometimes it's really hard to make that switch, that mindset switch, right? You could have the best intentions in the world and say, okay, I get it. I need to start believing and I have to have that growth mindset. But how do I do that? How do I actually do that? Practically, it's really hard. And so sometimes the answer is simply a good freaking kick in the ass. Now, here's what I mean by that more deeply, right? It's known, it's known that there are two sort of extremes that will drive and motivate someone to really make a change, really achieve growth, achieve a dream, realize a dream, achieve a goal. Those two extremes are two sides of the coin of getting a kick in the ass, right? The more common and unfortunately often the bigger driver is the negative side of that extreme, which is pain, suffering, challenges, failures, right? You hear so many stories about people who hit rock bottom, and if it wasn't for that breakdown, they wouldn't have the breakthrough, right? If they didn't hit that rock bottom and get to a point where they couldn't take it anymore, they just couldn't live like that anymore, or it was such fear of continuing down this path that it drove them and motivated them to actually make that change in their mindset, right? And start taking that inspired action. Now, the other side of that, it's not always a painful or challenging kick in the ass. The other side of that, what motivates and drives people, is the other extreme, which is extreme euphoria and pleasure and joy, right? For example, you experience something that you haven't done in years or that you've never done before, and it is thrilling, and you feel alive, and you feel connected to who you really are and who you were meant to be, and you feel such euphoria that you're all pumped up and you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is what life's about. I'm going to do this regularly. Unfortunately, what happens with that extreme? And again, it's human nature that the positive side of that extreme, of that driver and motivator and that kick in the ass, is less motivating than the painful side, because what happens is you experience that in the moment and you're all pumped up in the moment, but the next day or the next week or however long afterwards, you go back to your regular daily habits and life and routine, and that euphoric feeling that drove you and motivated you to take that inspired action kind of dies down. And that leads me into my next important point, which is that unfortunately, or fortunately, depending how you look at it, most of life is not lived in either one of those extremes, right? Most of our day-to-day lives is not the extreme pain, suffering, challenges, failures, rock bottom moments. And most of our day-to-day lives is also not lived in the euphoric, amazing, unbelievable joy, pleasure, fulfilling thrill, right? Most of our daily lives are lived in sort of that in-between zone, right? That in-between zone is so dangerous. To me, that in-between zone is a killing your soul danger zone. Why? Because it's comfortable and it's easy and it's familiar and it's safe and it's our day-to-day lives, right? And so what happens is it's not terrible, right? There's no painful, extreme challenge or fear or failure that's going to drive us to make a change, but it's also not amazing, and you're kind of just, coasting, right, through life. And again, the problem with that is because you're coasting and because it's not extremely terrible or extremely great, there's nothing driving you to change it, and what you don't realize is happening is that it's literally killing your soul. What do I mean by that? You talk to so many people and you hear so many stories of people who have realized this when it was too late, right? They've come to the near or end of their life journey, and the biggest regret is not having made a change, not having tried something, not having fulfilled their true purpose and become their best selves, not having realized a dream, not having tried at least to achieve a goal, but sort of settling for that. It is what it is. And I always hated that expression, and now I know why, because it is that danger zone of just coasting, and it's not terrible, but it's not great, and it's dangerous because it doesn't drive you and motivate you. It doesn't give you the kick in the ass that you need to make a change and to grow and to become better and to realize your dreams and achieve your goals. So what do you do about it? But that's our everyday lives, right? So how do you get that kick in the ass? And it doesn't have to be that rock bottom either. And it doesn't have to be that that would be great if you could always get a kick in the ass that was euphoric, right? But the reality is that sometimes a sort of just nice, good kick in the ass will do, right? And again, sometimes life, often, at least, we all get kicks in the ass, at some point in our lives, whether it's failure, a challenge, a situation, whatever your kick in the ass is, life gives it to you, right? But sometimes life doesn't give it to you. Sometimes you have to actually give yourself the kick in the ass. And sometimes you can't give yourself a kick in the ass. You need someone else to do it for you, right? I mean, if you think about it, you got to be really flexible to actually give yourself a kick in the ass. But really, sometimes you're too far in your head and in the situation that even if you know you need a kick in the ass, you can't give it to yourself. You need an outsider, someone outside of yourself to be able to do that. So that brings me to my last point, which is finding the right people to give you that kick in the ass that you need, to drive you and motivate you to take that inspired action, to have the right mindset and continue to grow and become your best self and fulfill your dreams and achieve your goals. Right now, often when we're in that zone of, well, I want to do this, but I'm scared of that, or it's not practical, and whoever you're sharing this with, it's usually someone you feel comfortable and safe with, right? Meaning it's usually someone who's a friend or a family member who supports you and loves you and wants the best for you, and you know that. The problem with that is that sometimes those people are actually enabling you to stay in that death zone, that gray zone of, neither extreme of the kick in the ass. And they're not going to drive you to take that inspired action because they want to support you and it's okay. And, yeah, you could try tomorrow. And that was really good. Great job. And they want to support you and be positive. But sometimes that's not what you need. Sometimes you need the kick in the ass. Sometimes you need someone to say to you, you know what? That's not good enough. And sometimes you need someone to call you out on your BS. And sometimes you need someone to say, whatever constructive feedback that's going to give you that motivator and that drive to take that inspired action, to make that shift and not stay in that dangerous zone of it is what it is and just coasting, right? And again, the people in your life that love you and care about you and support you, they want to help you, but oftentimes they can't give you that kick in the ass that you need. So you have to find the right people who will do that for you. And some of my friends actually are really good at that, and others are not so good. And they're both well-intentioned. But I recently, a week and a half ago, and this is why I've been thinking about this, got such a good kick in the ass that I so needed. And by the way, I knew I needed it, and I kept, kind of, it was whispering inside of me, and I kept shoving it aside and being like, oh yeah, it is what it is. And I was coasting, right? I wasn't able to give myself the kick in the ass that I knew I needed. And I got it from someone who's not a close personal friend, who believes in me, who I trust and supports me, believes in my vision, believes in my dreams, but is also there not just to hold my hand and make me feel good, but actually challenge me and call me out. And she gave me the kick in the ass that I so needed. And it was the best thing that happened to me a week and a half ago. And I can't tell you how inspired and motivated I was. When I was getting the kick in the ass, did it feel good? No, of course it doesn't. But when I took it in and I learned from it and I said, okay, I needed that. I'm going to freaking change things right now. I can't tell you how much growth I achieved in that. Just from that one good kick in the ass that I got. Yeah, I'm trying to think that's it. I think that's it. Katsu will kick you in the ass. Accountability seems important, internal and external. Accountability. Yeah, accountability to yourself and to others, right? When you have someone else that's going to give you that kick in the ass that you need, you have someone to be accountable for. And that's a good point, actually. Cheryl, who's here, Cheryl and I are accountability partners, and we have a weekly call where we share our wins and losses for the week. But that's actually a really good point. I like that, Tom. Cheryl, maybe we should start giving each other a kick in the ass every week, look for where we each need a little kick in the ass and give that to each other and incorporate that into our accountability. I like that. Great idea. Awesome. See, this is what it's about. Inspiring each other with great ideas. So that's really it, guys. Go get a good kick in the ass. And have an amazing, passionate, purposeful, fulfilling weekend. See you guys next time. Ciao. Bye.